Alright, thank you for joining me. I'm Mr. Reyes. This past week we did a few role plays and I noticed some common mistakes. Now the one thing I did like was, for the most part, the students that I did the role plays with were very confident and they didn't say as many ums and ands and a bunch of other filler words. And what I liked about that was that they seemed very confident, and the great thing was most of their ideas flowed very, very well. And even though they probably feel comfortable with me, that still says that they're able to put all their thoughts and ideas together. And so even though they're comfortable with me, they're still able to put all their thoughts together. And because they only get 10 minutes of preparation, that shows a lot. So I'm really excited about that. The one thing I noticed with every single person I did role plays with was the structure. Structure was a big issue. So that's one of the things I want to cover, is structure. How to structure the role play a little bit better. The other thing I did like was one of them said thank you. Thank you for joining me, or thank you for meeting with me and talk about these issues. So you want to start that off. As soon as you begin your role play, say thank you for joining with me. And then from there, we're going to go on and talk about the other things you'll be doing. But for now, let's go ahead and pause. Another thing that I think can be added to role plays is some sort of agenda at the beginning. After you say thank you, and you say, thank you for meeting with me, today we're going to discuss, today I want to meet with you to discuss the following issues. And then that's the perfect time for you to go over all of the different performance indicators. And don't say them word for word. You're not going to say them word for word. One, it's too hard to do it. And two, you'll sound very awkward. So you want to just go by and just say the main things. So for instance, it would go something like this. Thank you for meeting with me today. I'm glad you met with me because I want to go over the following things. I want to make sure we talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the different sectors in our market. I also want to make sure that we come up with a very great promotional plan. I also want to make sure that we talk about technology and how we can use it effectively to enhance our promotion plan. We also want to make sure that we cover our market and how we can identify other markets as well. So let's go ahead and begin and talk about the advantages and disadvantages of the different sectors. So that's the way I would like for you to lay it out. So you want to make sure you come up with some kind of agenda, some kind of like mini agenda to let them know as you're introducing it. Say, thank you for meeting with me. Today I'm going to talk about this, 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 and that. So immediately the judge is already going, oh, okay, this person's going to talk about the things on my sheet here. And by the way, take a look at the sheet. You'll notice all it has is, for the most part, the performance indicators. So they're not going to, if you come up with the greatest idea in the world, there's nothing here on the judge's sheet that says, let's give bonus points because this person came up with the greatest idea in the world. If you do absolutely nothing on number 4, you get a 0. So if you get a 0, that means no points whatsoever. You could have the greatest idea in the world, but someone who had a mediocre idea and made sure to cover all these has a higher chance at beating you because you got an absolute 0 on something because you forgot to do it. So make sure you go over every single performance indicator. And if you don't know something, you make it seem like you do. You do your best to play it off like you do know what it is. It's better that you at least give it a try than just forget about it completely. So make sure that you at least give it an attempt. When you're planning out your role play, you want to make sure you go through every single performance indicator. When you're going over them, you want to make sure that you break it down in a way that makes a little bit more sense to you, and you're going to be able to work with it a little bit better. So for instance, let's go with this number 1 right here on the sheet of paper. It says, list advantages and disadvantages of different sectors. You're not going to tell the judge, I'm going to go ahead and list the advantages and disadvantages of different sectors. That's too many words. But you do want to focus on the key words such as advantages, disadvantage, and the different sectors. Those are the 4 main words of that particular performance indicator. Then you move on to number 2. Number 2 says, explain the nature of a promotional plan. Here, the big idea is the promotional plan. So we're going to need a promotional plan in order to get the idea out there about this thing that we're selling or this thing that we're doing. You don't got to worry about the rest of it. Explain all that. As long as you mention the word promotional plan in there, most likely they're going to be excited and they're going to feel like you're covering it. The next one, number 3. Identify communications channels used in sales promotion. Once again, the big thing they're looking at is communication channels. All that extra stuff is extra fluff. And most likely you're going to say the word promotion multiple times, so you're not going to want to say it again. You want to kind of slow it down on that word. Next one, number 4. Describe the use of technology in the promotion function. Once again, the big word here is technology, so that's what you want to throw out there. That's what they're going to see on the sheet, and that's what's going to stand out the most to them. And finally, number 5 says, explain the concept of market and market identification. Once again, you're focusing on market and market identification. You're not focusing on the rest. You're just focusing on those key words, and that's what you're focusing on when you're coming in with your plan. And the best thing to do, I don't have a blank paper, is to start off numbering them. Maybe do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever ones you have, and break them up in little sections. Give each performance indicator its own little section, and you're going to put your ideas for each one. And so when you have that ready for doing your role play, you just go through down the list. And keep it in order. Don't try to jump from 1 to 5 or 1 to 3, then 5, and then come back to 2. You want to make sure that you do your best to follow in order, because the judge, guess what? Has it in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 2 other things that you're going to have to worry about, but in the meantime, let's focus on the main performance indicator. And if you follow that structure, you're going to do much better. The other thing you want to consider is possibly using a prop that can be utilized in a way where you're able to cover these things a little bit better. You might want to try creating some little PowerPoint slides maybe, or create a brochure, whatever you can use to kind of help enhance whatever it is you're doing. Sorry.
I paused it right there. It's like, I thought you were done.
Okay, so